right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you if you're watching this live, or this will be on Facebook. You can always go back and look at it. And as Scott mentioned in the email blast, we do have a YouTube channel for the SCA, and so we are looking to get these videos, once they're finished, we'll get them downloaded and put on YouTube. So not live, but for those of you not on Facebook, you'll be able to see these recordings after the fact. So again, thank you for watching at whatever time you're watching this. We've all missed you. I think I said this a couple months ago, and we probably thought by now we'd all be back in person, but that continues to be pushed off until we're sure that can be, a safe gathering again. So we do have several speakers that will come up today. Everybody, we're at the SA office, we're all wearing our masks, but I know in the past we've had some complaints that you really can't understand us through the mask with the one person talking. So when we swap out, we will be removing our masks to do that. So thank you for that. Really, this one will just kind of be some updates. I know it's been a while since we've given any updates, especially video or live updates. So we just have a few people to go through that today, just some SCA business, and then Elizabeth at the end to talk about a program coming up for Halloween. So with that, I just wanted to really start with some announcements and updates, and just remind everybody that although we haven't met in person for a long time, I think the last time we met in person was at Plaza America Mall in February or March, February, which was a fantastic meeting, but that's the last time we've seen y'all. So, but I want to assure you that the SCA as a whole is still working very hard. The board has been meeting virtually every month for our board meetings. Scott and Johnson at the office have been working hard every day, as they always do, coming to the office and fielding still plenty of phone calls coming in. As you can imagine, in these times of people spending more time at home, they might have more questions, they might have more issues that they want to get resolved. Certainly we've seen a big uptick in home renovations and people fixing up their yards and things that do require some input from the SCA. So I want to thank Scott and Johnson for continuing to work very hard through all that. And as a reminder, our website does do deed restriction violations. So if you're driving around the neighborhood in any of our sections, it doesn't have to be your own street. If you're driving around anywhere throughout Sharpstown, if you see what you think is a violation, whether somebody's working on their yard, working on adding something to their exterior of their house, all the way down to heavy trash or an inoperable vehicle, please go to our website, and there's a form there you can fill out and get that turned in. As hard as Scott and Johnson work every day, they can't have eyes and ears on all 6,800 homes in Sharpstown. So it really takes the input and the data from all of us, all the neighbors in the area, to get that information in. So utilize our website, and also 311, either the app, the website, or the phone, 311. If it's appropriate, that's the heavy trash, the inoperable vehicles. What else is 311? Those are the two big ones always. That's where I utilize it. If you call them first, you can give that report to Scott, give that number to Scott, and he can help track it that way as well through the city. I'd also like to thank board members and Scott for really getting on heavy trash. I know that was our last virtual meeting we had. We had Miss Coffee with the city talk about the heavy trash, and at that point in time, I think that was 2 months ago, and at that point in time, it was an issue here in Sharpstown, just missing heavy trash completely, not even just being a day or two late, they were just missing it. From then, I think it's gotten a lot better. I live in Terrace 3, I know it's gotten a lot better there. I think all over Sharpstown, we've really kept an eye on it, and really kept in communication with the city, and I think they've stepped up and done a good job making sure that Sharpstown has been covered. That was the door, not a gunshot. We're all good. And also with the heavy trash, I just wanted to point out, I realize you can't read this if you're looking at this on video, but I still just wanted to hold up, props are always good, wanted to hold up we now have a postcard that we will mail out as heavy trash reminders. Scott's holding one up there for you. So it's just a postcard that goes out that explains exactly, okay, why you're in violation of heavy trash. Usually it's the wrong trash put out in the wrong month, or it's somebody putting trash out the day after it's collected or the week after. So the front notice of this it's in English and Spanish, and then on the back side it has the actual yearly calendar for what's heavy trash versus tree waste pickup. So this is a great idea we've been using for a little while now, and I think it's really helped because people just need to know exactly what can go out and when it can go out. Again, the activity that the board's been doing, we just recently passed a driveway policy, and I know that sounds very boring, but that's just one of those necessary things that we need in the background just to have some unity, some cohesion on what we allow as a community when somebody's rebuilding their driveway. It just has the standards to make sure that that we don't have gravel driveways put in Sharpstown. That seems kind of simple, but there's a lot of background work that has to go in to making sure we have those policies in place. So if we do have to talk to somebody, whether it's just us or it goes all the way through the legal process, we have that backing. So, and in that same vein, something else we're trying is also the security cameras. In section 2, you may have noticed some go up. We have opted to test some smaller cameras. They're not the big tower ones you might see in like a Walmart parking lot. We have looked at several different options there, and we're currently just in a test phase for these cameras. They have been put up, they're not being utilized yet because, again, that's another policy that we're just having to work on the background, work in the background as a board, and make sure we have all our ducks in the row, exactly how those will be used, and information being kept, things like that, just for long-term use. So two big things that we're working on there as a board. Also, let's not forget our deed restriction update. You've been hearing about this for a long time now, and again, it's really, we're making sure that our current board, and more importantly future boards, are held to the standard of the Texas Residential Property Owners Protection Act. That's a mouthful, right? Texas Residential Property Owners Protection Act. Right now, as it stands, as a voluntary membership organization, we don't have those requirements to be a part of that. We do a lot of those requirements voluntarily. We believe in that, but we don't have to. And so we just want to make sure, what we're working towards is to update the language and the deed restrictions to make sure that we're held to that higher standard. Again, now and 10 years from now, a whole different board. Hopefully a whole different board, right? 10, 20, 30 years from now, it'll still be us. Anyway, and what we've found going through that, the big easy stuff, we've already talked to you about. We've mentioned different topics that we've updated and deleted or just updated the language. But now we're in the minutia. We're in the little stuff that's just as important, because this is kind of a one-time deal. We don't want to have to redo this every 2 or 3 years when we find an error in there. So the board members have been working very hard and very busy going through pretty much word by word, line by line, and making sure we have the right properties listed in Sharpstown, that they're covered by the right covenants. So now it's the minutia that we're, you've heard me say this before, but we're close. We're oh so close to finishing that up. So so stand by for more information as we get that. Again, those are kind of some of the activities we've been doing as the board. Since we haven't been in front of you, I just kind of want to make you aware of what we've been working on as a group. Some other things in the area we have. Last night was HPD, the Midwest Division PIP meeting, Positive Interaction Program, right? Positive Interaction Program meeting. This is a monthly meeting. It did take a break for a while, but they've been back up for a couple months now. And we put out an email blast about that the other day. It's on Microsoft Teams. They're hosting it on there now. But this is really a great opportunity. When it was live, it was great, and even now, a virtual meeting, it's still a great opportunity for you to see and meet some of our officers and the leadership at HPD Midwest, which does cover a large portion of Sharpstown. And then they also have a little program at the end. About half the program is a guest speaker that they bring in as well. And then there's Q&A at the end. So when you get those email blasts, when you see something about that on Nextdoor, I mean, it's free. You can sit at home in your pajamas now and watch. And it's just a great opportunity to hear about HPD and the safety. They go over the crime stats for the larger area. It's not just Sharpstown like our crime stats, but it's a great opportunity. So I really recommend that you do that in the coming months. Also want to mention Sharpstown Parks Alliance is working. They've been meeting every month now. They are a great group of volunteers here in the Sharpstown area. Just as the name says, they are working to build up and clean our park system, our green space. And so just got information today from Tony Tuckwiller that Regeneration for a New Generation is what it's called. This will be at Ed White Elementary, which is attached to Crane Park. So it's kind of encompassing Ed White and Crane Park. They're going to have a work day on Saturday, September 7th. November. Thank you. Saturday, November 7th, from 9 to 12. And just what he says, this work day is primarily to clean the area. Masked volunteers are appreciated. And they're also looking for people to help design the bed in the front of the school. So if you have any knowledge or interest in helping design a bed, then certainly let's talk about that. But on November 7th, again from 9 to noon, we're looking at a cleanup day at Ed White Elementary and Crane Park. Sharpstown Parks Alliance, or SPA is what they're called. SPA has also adopted some drains. The city of Houston has done adopt a drain program, and they adopted the drains in Crane Park. So they're gonna do that on the same day. That's a very quick project. Hopefully that's the plan, but that'll be part of that as well, as cleaning up the drainage system there also. So I encourage you to go to sharpstownparks.org, sharpstownparks.org, and look at their contact information there. I don't know that they have this information up there yet, but you can certainly contact them through that website and let them know that you're interested in volunteering. Also, if you'd like to email myself or email Scott here at the office, or call Scott, he can get your name and information down if you're interested in volunteering for that event. Again, it will be socially distant, utilizing masks, and going from there. So thank you for that information, Tony. And with that, I'd like Pat Menville, board member, will come up and address a couple items. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to be able to interact with the community again. I'm certainly missing our in-person meetings, as Matt said, but when it's safe again to do that, we will resume that habit and tradition that we have. Just want to mention a few things. The scan is been somewhat delayed. We were hoping that we would be at a point where we could devote the October-November issue, September-October issue, primarily to the deed restriction update. But as we found we're going to need a little more time to work on those updates, we have gone ahead. The scan is at the printer now. Should be in your mailboxes shortly, the next week or so. Always encourage people to read it. It has a lot of good information. It does have the crime stats that for our particular subdivision that Matt mentioned, as well as the heavy trash schedule and a number of other things of interest and use. So look forward to you all being able to read that at your leisure when it arrives at your homes. The other thing that I personally have been involved in, along with several other residents of Sharpstown, including Charmaine LeBlanc, our treasurer, is the District J Patrol. I'm sure you've seen information about this in the Chronicle, online, various websites, on Facebook, and so forth. The District J Patrol was created by Edward Pollard when he took office as our council member in District J. He did a number of listening sessions where he heard from our citizens that they wanted more police officers available locally, not for the big crimes. They've always been responsive and always will be for those, but for the things that often there just wasn't enough manpower available to address them. Things such as the inoperative vehicles that we mentioned that end up clogging our streets and making it very difficult to get in and out of some areas, sometimes sitting idle at the curb for months. What we call quality of life issues. It could be something like a panhandler at an intersection, a very aggressive, disruptive influence at that intersection. Things like this. So the council member service fund is being used. This is a pot of money given to each council member individually in their district to use on projects within the district. So Councilmember Pollard decided to invest in the acquisition of 2 Polaris vehicles. These are very interesting vehicles that have the capacity to go off-road, which means they can be active within our parks, they can be active along the bio trail systems, because problems don't always exist on a paved roadway necessarily. So he's acquired those officers, DRT officers, who are specially trained in the codes of the city regarding these quality of life issues. We'll be manning those. At present, they will be available for 12 hours a week to patrol all of District J. And that's a very large area. So a committee has been formed, a task force that will work cooperatively to try to identify the concerns our residents have in each of our varying neighborhoods across District J. I'm one of the ones from Sharpstown. There are representatives from another number of other areas, Braeburn Valley, Lynn Shannon, and we currently meet every other week or actually twice monthly, to begin the process of setting up a system that will work to have a flow of information from the citizens to the officers in the field, so that it's not designed initially at least to be a random patrol every street, but to be targeted, where they will be driven by specific concerns and go to those locations. So it's early days, but the vehicles and their officers are already patrolling and have had some very significant successes with some gang activity, very, very, very bad gang activity that they were able to bring to a stop with some arrests. So we'll be letting you know more about that as the work progresses. So that's really all I have to say at this time. So thank you. Oh, and I've just been reminded from off camera, our next speaker will be Dale Davidson, who's going to be talking to you about some information that she's had as her work, in her work as a director.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Dale Davidson, and I'd like to share with you some of the information that was shared with us about a month ago in a Zoom meeting with Harris County Flood Control. They are working and looking at an expansion of the Bentliff ditch that affects basically those of you that live in Section 2 and Section 1. Years ago, it was brought to the attention of the TERS board that it might need to be widened or deepened or whatever. And in the study with the TERS board, they found that the downstream receiving end of the Bentliff ditch could not take an expanded Bentliff ditch. Well, that has changed, and Harris County Flood Control has now found some federal funds to come in and assist with the expansion of that ditch. It will not expand into any of the properties along Bentliff. It will not really impede on any of the properties at all, but it should assist with some of the flooding that's been going on along Bentliff and into the neighborhood a little bit. So we're looking forward to this, and all of the construction, once again, will be in the ditch. It will not be on the individual property lines or anything like that. So that's good news. I'm excited that they have found the funds to do this. It's not going to happen tomorrow. As all projects like this, it may take a little while before it happens, but it is good news, and I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware of this new development that's going to be happening in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat and Dale, for that information. And thank you for being involved in those different groups as well, just to be able to keep us updated. Again, with something like the Bentliff Ditch project that Dale just mentioned, if you're someone that just likes the information and wants to be kept up to date, I suggest that you certainly should be on our email blast. But something like that, go to the City of Houston website and try and get on some emails, because that was, I believe, that was an open meeting, open virtual meeting, certainly to any residents along there, but really open to anybody. So again, if that's information that you like and find helpful and want to get it directly from the source, by all means, please sign up for things like that through the City of Houston or other organizations such as ourselves. Charmaine couldn't make it in today from work, but just to quickly cover a few things with safety. We've done a couple weeks now of our HPD overtime program, and that has really been helpful to us. We tried that last year, and it was very helpful, so we have redone it as we are able to this year. And that just allows us to utilize some HPD officers in an overtime capacity to work on very specific things to help clean up Sharpstown. So, they'll look at a broad range of things as they're driving, but specific tasks they're looking at or addresses would be prohibited yard parking, and then inoperable vehicles. Those are the two biggest projects or items that we give them to kind of help clean up, because those are citation-based issues that we need to work through HPD to resolve anyway. So this really ups that timeline a great deal. So thank you, HPD, and thank you, Charmaine, for working with them on that. Also, as always, please look at our website for updated crime stats. These are crime stats that Scott goes through and pulls for They're from HPD, but they're pulled for the Sharpstown area. We, as a board, we look at those every month, and then we'll get those posted for you to look at as well. I can say that the beginning to the middle of September, we did see quite a uptick in the auto thefts. Everything else has been relatively quiet, especially with more people working and being at home longer now throughout the day. But the auto thefts, particularly in the evening, have gone up. So all I can say is, please just do your part and make sure that everything's locked up, that you don't keep valuables in the car. Anything we can do to help mitigate that. HPD, SEAL Patrol has been working on that. HPD, it's gone down quite a bit since then. It's been about a month, probably 3 or 4 weeks. It's been pretty quiet since that rash of auto thefts. So please keep that in mind and take a look on our website. Also on our website is financials. I believe right now it's through July. We were a little late getting August's, and then we run a month behind, so we have September's now. So we'll get both of those posted online as well. So if you have any questions about our financials, we're very open about that, and they're posted online. Take a look at them. If you look at them and see something you have a question about, please don't hesitate to call any of us, whether that's up here at the office or any of the board members to ask about that. We'll certainly do our best to explain anything we have with the financials. And then with membership, starting next month is when our membership letters start to go out. So if you've been a long-time member of SCA, thank you very much for your support. And usually about mid to late November is when we start getting those letters out asking for you to renew. And that's when we also start getting payments in for 2021. So again, thank you for that. If you haven't been a member in the past, or it's been a while, we ask that you please join. It's whereas we have mandatory dues and mandatory job requirements here that we have to fulfill with the SCA, it's a voluntary membership. And so obviously we need all we can to help support our efforts and the efforts of Scott here in the office. So thank you for that. The last thing I have before we get Elizabeth up here is just to talk about our nominations and a possible November meeting. And some of this is up in the air, and I apologize for that we don't have definitive plans right now, but as you can imagine, with things going virtual, that's kind of what we're having to deal with. So normally our October meeting is when we would take any nominations for board of directors from the floor. And then our November annual meeting is usually a potluck dinner at Balin Park. That's usually where we do the actual voting. The paid SCA members at that time would vote on that. As it stands right now, we are looking into what a November meeting might be. And again, with different safety protocols, we have to do the right thing, obviously. So we're just kind of waiting to see what that might look like. If it's, we'd love to have an in-person meeting at Balin. If we're able to do that, we will get that out. It might be a shorter period of time and a come and go type thing. I would imagine it's not going to be, we're not looking at this time at any sort of sit down potluck dinner. I just don't think we'd be able to do that safely. But please just keep an eye out through email, through Nextdoor and Facebook, our Facebook page, and we'll definitely get that out as it gets closer. What I'd like to do though is bring forth our nominations for the board, that nomination of board members from the board. These are board members that are renewing. And so I'm going to read this out, and this will be submitting these board members for renewal, and also our officer positions. And then also at that time, instead, since we don't have a meeting from floor nominations, if you yourself or if you know anybody that is interested in serving on the board, it's a lot of fun, I promise. We're always asking for new blood on the board. We have room, we have space, and we're really friendly. But if you know of somebody or if it's yourself, please email your information to Scott here at the office by tomorrow at 5 p.m. Okay? And that will be considered our floor nominations, because at that point we'll need to type this up. We're going to mail out, as it stands right now, we're looking at mailing out ballots to the paid members, and then those can be returned either by dropping them off here, scanned and emailed back to Scott, faxed, or put in the mail. Again, that might change, but that's the plan right now. So again, floor nominations from yourselves by tomorrow 5 p.m. And at this time, I'd like to just read our nominations for the SCA. So we have 6 positions that are coming up for re-election, and that is Charmaine LeBlanc, Byron Werner, John Lorenz, Wayner, Byron Wayner, and he's even here, and he's giving me, under his mask, I can see the evil eye. So I apologize, Byron, see? If I don't write it down on my list, I can't pronounce it. John Lorenz, Matt Wine, Elizabeth Schooler, and Almina Downey. So those are 6 board members that are looking to renew for another 2-year term. So thank you very much to those 6 board members that have already served and are looking to redo it. So it's got to be fun if they're looking to come back, right? The officer list that is being presented for President, Matt Wine, Vice President, Charmaine LeBlanc, Treasurer, Elizabeth Schooler, and Secretary, Pat Menville. So that is what the ballot would look like as of now. Again, in order to serve on the board of directors, you need to be a paid member of the SCA with no outstanding deed restriction violations currently, or outstanding bills or fines.
Paid member as of today.
And you have to be a paid member as of today. So thank you for that. A little dry, but the necessary business for us to move forward. And again, just to repeat, look out for the information coming about our November meeting. We'll try what we can to have that in person, again, because we miss y'all. But we just don't know what that looks like yet. So we'll make it work as best we can, especially with the voting like that. So with that, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Schooler, who has a project coming up real quick that she'd like to talk about and get some help with. Thank you.
Take off my mask, yay. So, this is exciting. Halloween's almost here, and I love Halloween. So, just real quickly want to show you what our poster looks like. You're going to see this up in some neighborhood businesses. Perhaps some flyers will be given out as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. The idea is to be safe and social distance. So this is what we're planning on doing. We're going to have several vehicles escorted by a SEAL vehicle, which will drive through the entire neighborhood slowly, but we're not walking. We're still going to be rolling. We're going to have princesses and pirates and maybe even a T-Rex that'll be tossing out goodies to the kiddos in their front yards. There is a time on here. I'll go over that in a second. But the main thing is just listen for the music. We'll have Monster Mash and maybe some scary music too, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So listen for the music. Have your children in their costumes or not, but just, they can decorate their mask and come out in the front yard, not the street, the front yard, and we will toss goodies to them so they can have a unusual, unique experience for 2020 Halloween. I guess that's the best way to put it. So we're going to start about 3 o'clock in section 1, and then we'll move on to section 2, section 3, and then I think Terrace 2, Terrace 1, Section 5, Country Club Estates East, then West, and then Terrace 3. So just bear with us. This is going to take several hours, but we are going to get around. I know there's going to be different people in the neighborhood that'll be giving out candy in various ways. I think one of our neighbors is going to have little treats hanging on her tree in her front yard. So the big thing is, please keep your children safe. You stay safe, and let's have a safe and fun Halloween. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. That sounds like a very fun event. You need to back that thing up now? Okay. They're like looking up my nose. Anyway, thank you for that information. That was, if you're on our email blast, you received one today, a reminder about this meeting, and that flyer was at the bottom of that email blast as well. We'll probably get more information out again, but just let you know that the flyer she held up, I believe that was at the bottom of the email blast that was sent out today. So, which is another reminder that if you're not getting our email blast, this is a great opportunity to sign up, because we do try and get certainly our own meeting and event information out, but any of the big opportunities that affect Sharpstown, we get that information out as well. And it's not an email every day. Don't worry about the spam factor, but we do try and get information out as we get it. So hopefully you can be involved in the Halloween project that she spoke about. Also remember the Sharpstown Parks Alliance event on November 7th from 9 to 12 to clean up Crane Park, especially for those of you like myself that live in Terrace 3. That's our park. So I expect to see a lot of you out there to help get it cleaned up and looking really good. I know a lot of people definitely used it in the past. It's still used a lot, much more spread out, not the team sports that we're used to seeing, but a lot of people still use that for walking and walking their dogs. And even a cat or ferret I've seen out there too, walking on a leash. Not me, but whatever. Anyway, anything else from anybody? This was a short and sweet meeting, but we definitely wanted to get in front of you all again and just get some information out to you. Hopefully we'll see you in person. I'm tired of saying that month after month, but we still believe it. Hopefully we do see you in person again soon. And just keep an eye out for what we're going to be doing in November. And thank you very much.